Microphone check 1 2 1 2.
Oh.
It's Michael Seville and Joel Simmons. This is what we do.
I'm gonna tell you what, I didn't know we were live. I was just in deep thought for a second. I was like, I'm
You
glad you
said
said
whenever
something.
you ready. That's what you said. You said
Yeah, I did say that, and you didn't say I'm ready. You just said something about the
I
media.
just
You were looking for something. Listen, guys, it is Community Beacon. It's Friday. We're at the end of January, man. January 30th, 2026. So we're almost we're going on the second month of the year. Um, yeah, I'm gonna tell you what I'm observing or what that's like coming to me right now is that it's been a long week. It's been a long week. It's been I imagine it's been chocked full of a lot of different things. I'm coming off of a nice little leg workout, and it was taxing in there, man. I was like, man, everything is just heavy today. Like it was just
why is that? Why
heavy.
does that
And
happen
I know
some
what
days?
because I would imagine I mean it's everything compounded, right? It didn't just happen today. It's just everything compounded. The time of day. Yeah, that therein lies a great question. What do you think it is?
I was asking you, I was looking for an expert answer. And you threw it back on me. That was an expert answer, all right. You know what? That's a great question. Tell me, why does that happen? That was a great
What
answer right there.
what what about it is it? Oh man,
Yeah, man. I'm
I
telling you,
can tell.
man,
I can.
because sometimes it's just like that. I'll just go into the gym, and sometimes, Mike, man, it's like it's
Uh-oh, brother. I don't know. Your the sound went out.
sound went out. Hold on. Microphone.
It's back now. Yeah, man. I look like a prisoner right now.
Yeah, you do. You're in the prison. You're in the prison, but that's a nice
Uh,
prison over there, though. So don't worry about it.
Let me tell you something. Yeah. I created a nice little prison.
Uh,
No. Go ahead. You were saying. You were saying.
I was saying that sometimes it's not even just that one day. Sometimes it can be like, a couple of days or something like that. And it's just like, gosh, why is everything so much heavier? So I don't know. I would imagine that there's times when your body just needs rest, like real rest. Body just really needs some rest. I would also imagine that it could be like some type of stress that a person is dealing with. I would also imagine that a person's mind, isn't in a place that it's supposed to be at. So the focus is not lost. So the focus is not there. You know, those are three things that I can imagine may have something to deal with it. You know,
Yeah. I I can tell you out. My mind was definitely every which way. So I can agree with that today from this the experience being so was just recent. Uh, sleep is big. I think. So I think this is a dope conversation to get into. Let's talk about like rest and self-care. And I know I'm
Hmm.
going in and out. It's the time of day has to be, but
It's that
last
prison, man. It's
a
that
couple of weeks
prison. You
ago,
don't get the
I
same
told
type
you I
of
was
coverage in that prison. That
what's that?
prison is that's what it is. That prison you in, you don't get the same coverage.
Bear with me. Bear with me.
Don't stretch too far. You might hit the wall.
It's a rather spacious prison. I was I was
Man, where
looking.
are you,
I'm gonna
man?
do some stuff in the. I'm in the room. I'm in the studio. What does Paul say? Paul say, go to your office and work. That's what he tells
It
him.
is a prison. It is a prison.
He
It
say-
is a prison.
Paul would tell me, he'll say, man, you know, when he's about to do something, you know, he'll say, he'll just say, go to your office and work. Go do some work. I say, oh man, like you just you sending me away. I'm like, what do you have going on?
He is 100% a Michael Seville son.
It was so funny the other day. Oh yeah, absolutely. He was one night he did not want to go to sleep, and so I mean he to the point to where he was like, he said, I'm going to the kitchen to get something to eat. You're right, and he was like, I'm getting some food. I'm like, all right. So, and you got to understand, like it's he's a 4-year-old. The house is like dark. You know what I mean? Like where you go for him to go in there. So off times, but you know, some people like he's like, I'm going. I said, all right. So he took off, and I saw all the lights go on. You know, as he went to the kitchen, it's like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I'm like, oh man, let me, you know, probably wasn't 30 minutes. In my mind, it was like 30 minutes. I'm like, let me go check on him. Let me see what he's up to. And of course, he has his little snack that he went into the cabinet and got, and he's eating his snack. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm eating, and I'm feeding Chalky. And I look over in the corner, and he's over there feeding Chalky with food. I said, this little kid. I said, are you okay? Hey, I'm okay. I'm like, all right, I'm just checking on you. All right, and I you know, I try to like to leave him alone so he can feel more comfortable in just in being with himself, which he is, because he's almost like an only child. Elijah is as well. I am as well. So I think they definitely, like you mentioned, they definitely is Michael Seville's son. I digress. And my father too. My father is definitely comfortable being by himself, you know, and he can be with a lot of people, right? So he's really dual-sided in that way. 2 weeks ago, I know it was 2 weeks ago because I had Elijah and was going to the bus stop, and when I was talking to him about like how we're taught things, and I was saying like a lot of the things that we're taught, or at least the things that we pick up or we put as a priority, is really almost in reverse, right? Because just in this instance, in this context of the gym, we're taught like you need to go to the gym. Okay, check. You know, like, and we understand that you want to get healthy, you want to lose some weight or whatever it is. Like I go to the gym and I put in these activities. And you know, when I show up at the gym, I'm going to do X amount. You have your sets, you do whatever it is. Like we have this down to the core. But when you really start to get in depth with it, like it's really about the sleep that you get. It's really about the rest. Is when like the rest and the sleep is when you get the most amount of growth. And if you're talking about losing weight, right, fat in particular, but let's say fat or whatever weight, whatever you want to do, you know, whatever your goals are, it's like nutrition, but it's really because nutrition will affect your sleep. So it's like you need to learn a lot about nutrition, right? If you really want to understand and know what's going on with your body, then you need to get some sleep, which I find when you have a conversation with most people, that's the issue, right? Most people is like, I can't, and not just sleep, but like real sleep, like rest, to where you know you're an REM. That's when your body does the most. You know, testosterone is produced, your cortisol levels tend to be lower. Like this is when your body is actually doing its work. The hormones are actually moving in order for you to reap the benefits of whatever it is that you do in the gym. What you'll notice is that what I noticed anyways is that people are willing to cut their sleep short, right? So the nutrition and the sleep is probably 80 to 90% of your, it's going to be what your result is coming from. Like, I'm no joke. Nutrition and sleep is going to be 80 to 90% of your results. Because I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. If you didn't go to the gym and you perfected those two things, you probably wouldn't even have to go to the, you know, in your mind, you would have to go to the gym. Like not as tough as much as you want to do it, or as they tell you to do it. Like when you'll see so much more progression if you really locked in on the 80% sleep, 90 not and 10 or 80 to 90% of sleep and nutrition. But it's all in reverse. So I think it's interesting that that's how we're taught. And so my thought process now for this show, since we can just stay on that topic, is like, well, what are your thoughts in regards to that? And what I want to know from you is, how do you find your rest and sleep and really self-care in that respect, brother?
So I guess so. What it sounds like, we're going down that road of rest and self-care, and I would have to say I don't believe those are the same thing, right? Definitely, I don't think rest and self-care are the same thing, because self-care, that can show up in multiple different patterns and different pathways, right? I mean, you got physical care, you got mental care, emotional care, which emotional and mental, there's a possibility you can run the two of those very close to each other. You got spiritual care. And let me see. Yeah. And then you got like nutrition. So I think that's like 5 different types of care for self-care. And I'm sure that there's probably a couple other things that fall outside of those categorical boxes, but maybe those are the top 5. I know we've talked about this before, and we like name like 4 or 5 of them before. And so I think that, like I said, with mental and emotional, they run kind of close. It really does depend on the reference that we're speaking from. Anyway, and then rest, I look at rest as being when you're allowing your body to recuperate, right? Just allowing the body to recuperate. So there can be rest in all of those different categories. And rest could be considered self-care in all those different categories too. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the only self-care, right? Because I would not consider meditation to be rest, right? I would consider meditation to be actively disengaging from the environment, right? And engaging into something a little bit deeper. So my thoughts on it. Okay. My thoughts are, first off, my number one rule, man. Number one rule. If I don't feel right, insert anything, Mike. I don't care what it is. Insert anything, unless it is blatantly obvious. Like, I don't feel right because I tripped and I fell on the branch, and the branch is going through my abdomen and coming out my back. So it's a very obvious thing, right? So insert anything that is plausibly deniable, right, as the reason for why I don't feel right. Then I'm going to check off a few things. One of them, have I drank enough water? Second one, have I eaten enough food and the appropriate foods to give my body strength? The third one, have I gotten rest? Have I allowed my body to reset itself? Have I given it the opportunity? Those are the 3 things. Those are my 3 check boxes that I check. This is not to say that there's not 15 more boxes that I could go through. This is just to say I start right here. If I knock out those 3 things, just about anything that I'm feeling goes away. Right there. Mm-hmm. I can add one more for me that may not resonate with all the audience and all the other people, is my connection with God, right? Because that has a huge part with me, because I've found that there have been times in my life when I was feeling down, and all I needed to do was just pray. And all of a sudden, I started to feel better. Like, because the prayer ended up becoming like a command. I'm sending a command. Like, imagine if you're a computer, right? And you type in a command because you want to drag and drop something. So you type the command in, and then after you type the command in, boom, you get this download of information. So prayer in some cases has been like this simple verbalization to my God that ended up in a response that I got a download that cleared every single thing inside of me. Like, all of a sudden I felt better. My mind's clear. I'm like getting up. I'm ready to go. I can go work out. I can go run. Whatever I want to do, I can just go do it. It was just very simple, just through prayer. So I check off those first three things. And then for me, I have found that I had to add that fourth one, because sometimes it was just that simple. Just that simple. So that, I don't know if that really answers your question about how I feel, but I definitely feel like rest and self-care are extremely important. And since it's an open conversation, that's my first bit. So kicking it back into your hands, my man.
Yeah. I definitely can resonate with a lot of those different processes and how to check it out, and super important. Like, for in my experience, is definitely the water. Like, or hydration. Let me call it hydration. Let me not call it water, because some
Hydration.
people are, yeah, some people, y'all are drinking a lot of water and it's running right up out of us. Like, there's times when you're not actually hydrated. So I would check those things. That in itself is going to solve a lot of problems. But there's research out there done it's like, and I'm not even going to pretend like I have the numbers. So you all go do the research. The majority of us, is what I'll say, tend to be dehydrated. And so when you're not hydrated, we're talking about, and your body is what is it, 70 to 80% water, or is it
Yeah,
more
like
than that?
80% water.
Crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, some type of crazy number. So the fact that we're not making that more important, and how to, it would warrant some research, since it's so important. Like, what does hydration look like, right? Is it the water? Is it the type of water? What you put in your water? The fruits, because some people, fruits will get you hydrated as well. Soups, whatever. Anytime someone gets sick and they talk to me, I'm like, make sure you stay hydrated. That's number one. You get a chance to take a look at what that is, or do the research on it. What else did you mention? You mentioned food, nutrition. And I'm glad and I like the way that you yeah. I like the way I like the order, right? I like the order of hydration and then food. As because of the way that we have essentially we're socialized, especially here in America, we often go to food before we go to water. Like, our hunger and our thirst signals have been kind of, they've been put together. Sometimes the hunger signal, because of the way our food is engineered, sometimes it supersedes the hydration. I don't know how many times someone has been, they've really probably been thirsty and they went to go get something salty, right? Like, as far as like something savory, chips or whatever, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying that if you drink water first, you may notice that, okay, this thing went away, whatever it is, or I feel better, right? Sometimes you do need some salt, some sodium, some potassium or something. So you'll have something light and it goes away. So I think that's super dope. What did you say after that? You said
Rest.
You said hydration. You said nutrition. What was it? Did you
Rest.
you had a third one? What was the third one?
Can you still hear me?
Rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and how I define rest is definitely going to be when you're able to quote unquote take a load off. So anytime that you
Mm.
can kind of relax, it could be sleep, it could just be sitting in the couch, it could be something to where, and you don't feel like negative about it. And you're not using it like sometimes, or there were times when I used to think, okay, I'll just take out my phone and call it rest. And it ends up not being rest because if I take out my phone and I'm scrolling and I'm seeing things and I'm mentally engaging with it, um, I might end up being more tired than I was. I might have end up going down some type of hole. You know what I mean? Even sometimes when it's like a regular YouTube video, I'm researching. So in my mind, I thought I rested, but I didn't. Right? It used to be a time when you could go to the bathroom and you didn't have any any distractions. Now this little pocket, this little thing you could it's almost everywhere with you. So we get a chance to kind of take a look at it now and say, wait a minute, I need to put this thing up, right? And even just that, there might be some resistance to it, right? But I want to just to be cognizant of that, even when you playing the little games on the phone, that may not necessarily be rest. So or it may be, what you get a chance is to iterate and take a look at it. And then you mentioned the fourth thing, which I think is super important for whatever, whomever it is that a person is connecting to, or thing that a person is connecting to. I think just to sum it all up universally is like just is to connect, right? I think connection restores. So if you have the ability to connect with whatever it is, it could be another person, right? Like I don't know how many of you have felt this is where if I just connect with somebody else, all of a sudden it may have me become more energetic. If I can go outside and I can connect with nature or with my surroundings or with sometimes I'll just sit in the sun. If I connect with that, like there's no one, I don't necessarily have an instruction. I'm just saying I'm just connecting. However, a person feels that connection is connection to them, then all you can start to it may bring you some rest. My father loves going outside and connecting with nature. Like that's his thing. So he'll be outside, and to some people it'll be work. Like how did he when he comes, I love when he comes to the house. Like, how is he out here just doing this yard work and this, that, and third? Like he's connected. And then he comes back in and he's filled with energy. Like that's almost like his restore spot, his rechargeable spot. So I had, if I were to give any advice, I would say find out how to connect with something like a true connection to where you can be, in this framework, vulnerable, impartial, empathetic, and in wonder of whatever it is. And I find that to restore and recharge as well in regards to like getting out and go to the day. When I
Mm.
went to the gym and I'm tired, right? I'm gonna tell you the interesting part, and this is why for me the workouts tend to be more strenuous when I look back on it, because like today I was tired, the weights were heavier. I start to connect with the different muscles. So now I'm doing the leg day, which is like, people tend to think it recruits a lot of muscles and different muscle fibers and tendons and everything. I'm starting to connect with everything. I'm connecting with on this leg press with my hamstrings and my glutes. I'm noticing that I don't really incorporate the quads on this leg press. So as heavy as I'm lifting with the leg press, I know that because I'm not connecting with my quads, and that this just came to me today because I was connected. I'm like, okay, there's an imbalance there. So now when I go to another machine and my knees hurt, I'm like, oh, it's because I wasn't connecting with my quads. Now I can also switch out the different exercises, saying, okay, well, since I'm not connected with my quads, I want to do a quad dominant exercise with less weight, so I can start to engage those. So over the next 3 to 4 weeks, this muscle will be different. So I'll go to the is it the extension? Yeah, the leg extension. I'll go to the leg extension, and now I can really start to focus on the quads and that muscle fiber. I think that's the same way when you start to connect. A lot of things start to to open up. And if you're in there with a place of just curiosity, like how like what it is that I can do or whatever, things start to open up. Now you might be in the gym, which was interesting because I saw you in the gym yesterday, brother. And after you left, I was doing a workout. I was doing an exercise, excuse me, a set, and there was a guy who was next to me who I noticed from another gym. I'm like, oh, this guy, he was a college strength. What do they call him? Strength
Trainer.
Yeah, he was a strength trainer in college. He's an older guy too. So I get to tap him on the shoulder, and we're having a conversation because he was doing the exercise. We're doing a similar exercise. I'm just like, well, how come you are stopping here, right? And instead of stopping here, because this is what I'm doing. And he was talking about the range of motion, and he's talking about this and that. And I'm like, man, like this is like to me, like this when you come from this place of curiosity, and it's like now the workout changes, but it all started with for me with that connection. So for me, with your fourth part, I add that's how I saw that. So man, now I'm excited. I feel like doing another workout.
Yeah, man.
Now
Yeah.
I almost feel like doing another workout again.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. So I like that you brought up the connection part. And I'm definitely 100% behind you or on your side with, kind of like using the connection for that piece. But for me, I think that I would make connection the fifth one. I'm gonna tell you the reason why. One, because just like for me, it's like there's some things that are like landmarks for me. I think you mentioned a month or two ago, like these are principles, right? Just like for me, landmarks. So it's just like I don't want to touch the landmark. I don't want to blend it. So that's one of the reasons why. It's like, you know what, I'm just going to leave that one just where it is, just like it is, without anything else to be associated with it. But then you mentioned this connection. I'm like, that's a real thing, especially when you start talking about your dad, because I'm like, oh snap. I used to work with my wife at this place called Florida Fashion Focus. And Mike, like I used to love going there, because I'd go there and I'd porter and they'd give me a few $100s. I'm like, what, man? I got $300 for doing what? Doing what? You didn't gonna give me $300? And so Mike, the reason why I'm saying that is because, like, one, if you ask me if my time is worth more than like the 8 or 10 hours I put in for like $300 plus, 10 or $20, whatever they gave me per hour, it's like, yeah, 100%. However, in this particular scenario, I disconnected from the world. And I connected to like different programs in my earbuds. I had my earbuds in the entire time. And so the work that I was doing, to me, maybe not to everybody else, but to me, was mindless. So I could just all day. I don't need to think about moving a plant. It's like they come up to me, hey, listen, there's 50 plants. We need to put them here, here, here. Show me one more time. Here, 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 here. Okay, thank you. After that, take out the AirPods, put them in the ear, get my track, done. I'll see you in the next couple of hours. And I'm like, y'all are paying me to recharge. That's all you're doing. I'm knocking out so many things out the box. One, I'm with my wife, so I'm giving her time that she really appreciates when I'm there. I appreciate her. I'm giving time with her. Two, I'm getting a little chump change. I'm getting a little couple dollars. I'm gonna go home and get that to my kids. Hey, here you go. Hey, no problem. Here you go. Three, I'm learning something educational and I'm enjoying it. Four, I'm turning off my mind from some of the things that I'm dealing with. All of these different stressors that are happening in the world. I'm solving all the world's issues peacefully, just walking around, picking up a. And so when you started talking about people wonder when your dad shows up and he's outside and he's working in the backyard, this hit me. It's like there is such a sweet connection when I'm able to get into a rhythm, and that rhythm does not require for me to use my brain like I normally use it. I'm just absorbing music, whatever, just absorbing. I have recognized that when I left there, I felt nice. And so what I ended up doing is, because some days I felt like, okay, my body's tired. Man, all I did was just cut the hours off. I'm like, okay, I'll be out there. So when I go this hour, this hour, this hour, this hour too much, that's when I begin to become fatigued, and it doesn't feel good to me. So I'm just like, hey, I got to leave early. See you later. And when I did that, man, I could just go there and do it all day long, because it didn't matter to me. It was just like, it was nothing. This was nothing. And on top of it, they're going to give me a couple of dollars. My wife is happy. They're going to feed me. And I'm going to learn something in this environment. I want to come away feeling replenished. I'm going to feel good. I'm going to feel recovered. And tomorrow, I'm going to do great works. And sometimes I would create a sermon while I was there. Sometimes I would, fix things. Just whatever came to my mind, I would just let it happen, flow. Just be, and it took me a while before I even recognized that, and so I probably would not have framed it this way, except this conversation came up right now, and you mentioned your father. That's when I started to think about your dad. There's also another man that used to live next to me back out there in Loxahatchee. I don't know if you remember him, the old Vietnamese man. That old Vietnamese man was 90-something years old with a machete cutting down trees and stuff in the backyard all day long. And he never looked like he was ever tired. Always happy. Drink a lot of alcohol. That boy, he'd be sloshed. But he just had a good life. Like 96, 98, lived longer than his wife. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think because I got to bring it back, because there's a part where I kind of lost connection and I got back with you. And when I say connection, I'm not talking about the internet. I'm talking about our conversation.
Okay.
In regards to you named 4 things, and then it was my turn to have a conversation about my 4 things and how I saw them, and I named them. And then you went and you said something about a landmark, and I respect that as far as your boundary is concerned. But you asked me, right? So if you wanted to add 5, then that's a totally different thing. But I think I tend to respect your beliefs and whatever your ideologies, so on and so forth. So, because I think that maybe a week or 2 weeks ago, I also interrupted you. I asked you a question and I interrupted you in regards to that. So I think boundaries have to be respected on both sides. In regards to this part here with the connection with the job and so on and so forth, I'm glad you brought that up, because I just had a conversation with somebody recently and they were like, they were talking about something that they were explaining. They own a business. They hire people. So when they hired people, they this person was leaving, and this person doesn't know how to do the person who he supervised. He doesn't know how to necessarily do his job. And I said, well, I said, it's your business. I'm just asking. He's like, yeah, and I was like, well, you don't know how to do this piece of it. And they said, yeah, it's just not worth my time, right? And so that got me to thinking about it, because I totally understand that we're told in different arenas or things like this, certain things aren't worth our time. And then I'm like, well, how do we value our time? And like instantly we'll go to, this money versus the amount of time that we spend at a place. That's sort of like how we bring about the worth, so to speak. But in this case, where you're saying that someone is paying you and they end up, a part of it is you being paid, but the enjoyment that you get, the presence that you have, where you have the ability to connect with your wife, you're connecting with the music, you're connecting with the, whatever. It sounds like it was a laborious thing where it was it, and I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but by the time you ended whatever it was, just similar to my father, like it wasn't even about the time because of the enjoyment, the energy that you got from the enjoyment and the connection of it. And I think that's a super important thing for us to kind of take a look at, about whatever it is that we're engaged with. Like, what kind of connection are we having with it? What's the enjoyment in there? And if we don't have any of that stuff, then we can just chalk it up to something as simple as money, right? And I'm not saying money is not important, right? Because FPNL is not going to take joy or energy as a payment when they send us our bill at the end of the month, or our mortgage payments, or the taxes. Like, they're, government's not saying, well, how much joy did you have? Like, give me some of that back or whatever. Like, it's not that. But we do get a chance to take a really look at it and say, well, if I actually enjoy what it is that I'm doing, and I find reward in the actual doing of the thing, whatever it is, the people, the actual process, and sometimes the people allow the process to be even better. Like, how much more would I do this thing, right? Like, I remember when I worked at the city, and me, Beethoven, we had an awesome group of people. The kids were awesome. We'd come in on our days off. Like, we weren't even scheduled to work on a day, and we'd come in on the Saturdays or whatever, and still perform probably the same duties that we would have done when we were getting paid for it. And to have that, as opposed to just thinking just straight salary oriented something, like, just, which is, once again, money. I'm not telling anyone to think that. I am going to tell you that money or time is not important. But if we start to really look at it from a different purview and say, well, at the end of this, like, let's say this thing, like, we're coming to an end, and we get a chance to look back on our lives or what it is that we're doing, and we're actually writing this right now. Did I actually, like, how do I feel and think about those different things? What was I serving while I was doing those things? Was I like what, like, what was my way of being during that stuff? And we can kind of look at it now and say, like, especially, did that like, what kind of feelings do you have about it? Does it bring you joy? Does it bring a smile to your face? Does it make you, you know, happy that it is that you're doing? And if not, then, not saying that a person should leave their job or do anything, but say, like, what within this place will make me have this way of being, right? Like, you, like, doing what you're doing right now in this process. Like, this is like, when I look at it, if I didn't get paid for it, would that's a good question. Would I still be doing it? How about this? If somebody were to give me $1 billion, would I turn it down? as far as as far as the idea, because this is because I'm in what I'm doing. They said that listen, you can no longer do this thing, and I'll give you X amount of money, right? And it's not much that most people go turn down, like when we think about it. But imagine if you did have that kind of ideal, if you did have that kind of thought process of if someone just gave me X amount of money, like, oh, I wouldn't turn this down for X amount of money because of the enjoyment, the impact, the way the me living in my purpose, me living, how abundantly in that kind of way, and it has nothing to do with money. I think that's an interesting thought. The easiest way for us to kind of, and that's what money made happen. At first, it was about this was just an easy form of exchange, and I think over time, like it's kind of started to become like this is what we live for. We do it for this. We do it for this, and it's not once again, it's an important thing, right? But if you can find something and it does this to you, imagine what it can the results that will come with it. I think Tony Robbins was saying that recently. Like that's how he gauges things. Is where like if I find something that I enjoy and it brings something to me, like and then I look at the impact of it, I'm not worried about the money because the money is going to automatically come with it, right? And I'm saying money a lot, but I'm just talking about how you can kind of start thinking about the joy in the process of whatever it's doing, especially with the people that you have around you. So I love that you had like you had a chance to kind of feel that and know and understand and be aware of that to now with whatever it is that you're doing, you're like, it has to have this. Otherwise, I like how much, what am I giving up?
Mm. Yeah, man. Hey, first off, I apologize for stepping across your boundary.
Yeah, no worries,
First,
brother. We talked about it. I
first
think.
off, first off,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. So man, man, it's just like that. Man, you mentioned Tony Robbins. I don't really want to. I don't really want to jump into that one. I just had a conversation with someone about Tony Robbins, and it's not even about Tony Robbins. It's just about so many different things that are going on with all of the information that that we have in the world right now. But I love the question that you asked. And so, man, I was thinking about this question. And I was like, yo, what would you say no to? Like, let me frame up the question a little bit better. If somebody had $1 billion and said, you have to give this up and you can have the $1 billion, what would make you say no? Like if they came and they said, Mike, I'm gonna give you $1 billion for your house. Would you give the house up? Or Mike, I'm gonna give you $1 billion for your car. Would you give the car up? Or Mike, that hat you got on, $1 billion for that hat. Would you give the hat up? So, and those may not be as clear as I'm portraying it. Who knows? But it's not even about those examples of very tangible things. And, I'm not in any way insinuating that you will be wrapped up in something like that, materialistic. But I want people to understand when they watch this, and I ain't talking about that. I just want people to understand that. It's not really for you. What I would like to know is what would be a thing that if Elon Musk came up to you and was like, Mike, it's your day. I'm going to give you $1 billion, but you cannot do, you cannot be, you cannot have. What, any way you frame it, what would be top 5 cannots that you would say, nope, Elon, take your $1 billion and you better get off my front patio?
That's big, and it's almost I would think of it like almost as like a rhetorical question, right? Because there's nothing to answer. Like, and I appreciate how you framed it first because people need to hear that, Mike or whoever it is. Would you trade your house for a being? Absolutely, right? Would you, just off the car? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, here's the interesting part. If I said no, right? If I said no, I'm not trading. Oh my God, I'm gonna tell you how deep this is. Because it's really not about the item, whether it's tangible or materialistic or relationally or whatever it is, or the job. It's about your connection or relation to it. Because if this house, right, I'm gonna give you the stories that we tell ourselves. But if this house ran through it was generations, right? Like if there was generations of your house to where it can, and you had a strong connection to your ancestors, your your parents or whatever. If they own this property for 200-300 years, you may not necessarily trade it for money. Look at, if I don't know if anybody who's watched Yellowstone, these people are offering this guy however many millions of dollars, and they got in a gunfight. If you ever watched Yellowstone, these people are getting in gunfights over this piece of property, right? You watch Yellowstone, you can go back and watch 1888 to where it began. 1923 was like was another prequel of it, and then it's Yellowstone, which takes place in the 2000s, and this ranch goes back. And the cool thing about the ranch is the ranch was hard work. They weren't really making money on the ranch, but it was worth so much to them as far as legacy wise. They were willing to fight all. They would get, it was a whole bunch of stuff going. It's like an action kind of thing, but all these things because they didn't want to give it up for any amount of money, right? So it's like what? So the question that I hear is like, okay, so Mike, what are you like super connected and relationally with that you wouldn't give up for $1 billion? So off top, it's like, and I'm gonna your my faith and my beliefs, right? If I give that up, then I don't have anything. That's right. Like, so what's the point of me having $1 billion and I'm super depressed? And what do they call it? Spoiler alert, there's a lot that people who have $1 billion out, they're committing suicide out here. Hundreds of millions of dollars, right? So that's one thing.
Let me tell you this.
Go
Let me
ahead.
tell you this. Because you said my favorite, my beliefs. Do you know that I was in the fire department and it was like, I don't know if eBay just came out or not. I don't know, man. I don't know, Mike. I ain't got no clue. I ain't got no clue, man. I just know eBay was like this big thing that people was doing 20 years ago. And it was new to me, right? eBay was new to me. I was like, I don't trust that. I don't trust no eBay. Man, I'll never forget some guy was selling his seat to heaven. They had that thing up there for $20,000. He was gone, man. He was about to get it. And the eBay found out about it and shut that thing down. Somebody will get him, man, $20,000. He was like, and it read something about, I promise that I'll stay holy. And I'll, like, oh my God.
Wait, the guy was saying he'll promise he'll stay holy.
He said, I'm a Roman Catholic and I'll say my rosaries. I promise to you that I won't lose my seat, but I'll sell it to you for $20,000. The bids were going on. It got to $20,000. eBay found out about it. And they shut it down.
Let me tell you something. I think something recently happened where they were selling pieces of something, anyways, I'll leave it there. So faith in my beliefs, right? Like what, I wouldn't trade that. And I say that because if I am in a place of no hope, like I don't believe in myself, like I don't believe in the most, like whatever it is, then I don't care. The $1 billion doesn't make a difference to me. Number two will be like the relationships and connection. right? So in regards to my family, like if I'm not trading my son for $1 billion, Elijah might be like, "You're stupid." Right? So you got Paul, and you got and family members, my father, the memories of my being with my grandfather. Like if I couldn't if that couldn't take place, because I think life is depth. We spoke about this earlier. Like, who are we doing life with? Like, who are you connected to and doing life with? Right? $1 billion, and it's lonely, and I could imagine people are questioning you get it to a certain point, because I'm not at that point. And I still question people that come into the light in your life. You're like, well, what are they here for? Right? Like, like do they like what is this about? And I love me, so I don't necessarily need anybody to love me, but it's always great when you do have people that can be there and sit with you, right? Like my father, who can sit with me as a father. And no matter what it is that I do, he can actually sit and hear it. He might not be happy about it, right? It might not be all, giggles and laughter and everything. It might be something crazy, but I know he'll sit with me in regards to it, right? He may be even in correction, but I know in the correction there's love. So that's number two. I wouldn't give up those two different things. Man, I got a lot of knowledge and information. And so to me, I think to me it's worth more to be able to have that. So a lot of these things, it's not necessarily like something that's necessarily tangible in that kind of way. But now
Yeah.
when we get to the way that I live my life or career or whatever it is, I think that's something to take a look at. Where I'm going with real estate and the processes that I'm having and how I'm creating the life that I'm creating because of real estate, it'd be hard pressed for someone to say, okay, Mike, you can't do real estate anymore. Because the people that I meet, the conversations that I have, and it's not even about the result of it. I heard I was on a call today, and it's similar. It was somewhat of a similar question, but this guy essentially said that he likes to write, but he can't write. That's what he doesn't want to. He'll always find something else to do than write. But he says the way that he feels about it is that when it's done, he's happy about it. Right. So like when he's done, and I can relate that to real estate. Oh yeah, when I finish the transaction, I get that check. It was, the process was like hell, but at least I got that check. Well, if I have to wait for the result of the thing in order to feel some kind of way about the thing, then I don't necessarily know if I enjoy the thing. But if I can enjoy this thing, and whether or not this check comes at the end, I like checks, people. But whether or not it comes and I still feel fulfilled and joy within it, man, I don't want that taken away. I got a call yesterday. Somebody else was doing a deal and they're not doing it with me. And we're on the phone and they're a first time home buyer and they're asking me about the process. And it's not about the end result. I'm not getting anything out of this. But for us to have this conversation and just be in a state of joy and excitement about what this person is going through, and just telling them, hey, right now I could totally understand that you're overwhelmed. There's a lot going on in this process. Just take your time, but you're headed in the right direction. Right? Like these, and here are some things that you can kind of look for, but this is the process. And when you get off the phone, I don't have a check coming, but I still feel good about that because I have this information, because it's through real estate, because we have this connection, because it's greater than this, whatever the result or the thing is. And because who knows what the result is going to be, but during this time, like who wants to trade that? Oh man, I couldn't for $1 billion. So I don't know if I can give you 5 but definitely the top, I think I gave you at least three with a possible 4 that I wouldn't be $1 billion. And I got to throw that question right back at you because I see the wheels turning.
I think that's good, man. I mean, I definitely, and then also listening to your answers helped me to expand mine. So that was like a cheat code right there, because especially when you start to get around to like information, I hadn't thought about that one. But then when I thought about like Oh man, mind white. Shoot, man, you be sitting there babbling with little spittle coming out the side of your mouth. Wouldn't even know what to do with the $1 billion because you have no knowledge whatsoever. Like, so that's genius. Because like for me, first, like my God, my God, not trading out my God, right? And then and that's my faith. And then after that, I thought about. I see now. I was thinking singularly with like these relationships. I was like, shoot, I'm running out of numbers, right? But then you was just like relationships. So I was like, oh, okay, that's a good one. That way I can just put all of them family members, all those people there together inside of one. So that would be good. So it's like my God, my faith, that'd be number one. Then number two would be, it would be my family. I thought about this, like me. Can't have me, And so like the crazy thing about this, what's the dude's name who made and this is not to say, as I open this up and people come back and see this, I probably won't say his name right, so it probably won't matter too much. But it's not to say that what he's done is like wrong. I'm not judging the dude, but it just hit me when I said me. I wouldn't sell me, I wouldn't give me up for the $1 billion. There's a dude who literally just like sold his persona for like over $900 million. And so I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I'd have to read a whole lot of fine print. But I mean, I'd have to read a whole lot. That's not so. Like when I think about this guy, like the way he's done it. So I just want people to understand. I'm thinking about it like you own this, like like I'm putting myself into slavery. That type of thing, for $1 billion. I don't know if that came. I don't know if that came across. If that came across like, so it could be like, all you have to do is give me you. Like, what does that mean? It's like nothing. It just means that if I need you, you come. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you need me and I show up, that's it. That's all it really means. I don't got to do anything like crazy. Nothing crazy, nothing outlandish. It's like, oh, man, I'm going out the halfway, man. What you talking about? Crazy to you or crazy to me? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean by it, though, when I'm saying it.
Well, let me ask you a question in that regards. Because I know exactly what you're talking about. The guy, he's a TikTok phenom. He's out of Africa.
Yeah,
I think he was living in Italy though, but he did license himself, his being, his personality, whatever it is. For I'm sure it's not in perpetuity. Hopefully, it's not in perpetuity. Because remember, Prince was trying to get. Remember what Prince. That was the big thing about Prince, was that's why he stopped saying it was an artist formerly known as Prince, and he had that symbol. And Jay-Z talks about even the masters that these artists sell, for $80 million. I think because Kevin Hart did something similar to where they did it, but I don't want to get too far into the details and tactics and strategies of that. When you say me, is it your I'm not even gonna talk about like you be a slave or I'm actually telling you what and what not to do as far as this point on. But like when you say you, are you talking about your experiences and the lessons learned, or is it actually like how you express yourself, the ability to express? Is it like which? I'm not exactly sure. And I don't even know if you really specified. Oh, so you're
yeah, like I'm not sick. You can't. I will not give this up. Not an expression of this
for $1 billion.
Yeah, this is not the Book of Eli where I'm going to lay on the chair at the end of the movie and I'm going to tell you everything that I remember about what I've read. I ain't talking about that. I'm not talking about my intellectual property. You know, I'm talking about
Yeah.
you. I'm not.
Right. So that was interesting that you brought that up, and I know you read, I know a while back you read Will Smith's book and so on and so forth. I saw Will Smith recently. He was in an interview, and his I think it was his daughter. His daughter had just came out with that song. I whip my hair back and forth. I whip my hair back and forth. He signed his daughter over to, that's over, but he signed his daughter with Rock Nation or one of these different companies. Sorry, let me not say Rock Nation. I don't know. Don't sue me. He signed his daughter with some kind of company. This is the story that he's telling. And they had to go on tour. And she's young. And he's on tour with her. And then she was doing all these shows, and she was in Europe, and she went on stage to do a show. And then she came back to the hotel, and she was like, "Dad, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done." I said, kids might be excited about something one more time, but now I'm done. I'm done. And he said, "What do you mean you're done? Like, Will Smith is entertainer. He understands contracts. Like that's what's made him as prolific as he is. It's part of it. I'm sure it's his business acumen. He's like, we signed the contract. Like, this is a part of the deal. And the part of the deal is you having to be at these different places to perform this thing. Now, once again, a lot of empathy for the child, because I get sick, and I don't know how a lot of these artists do the same thing over and over again, where it's like the same song. And they're going to these, and you have to, and if you're a great performer, you're bringing like the same kind of energy, right? Like, this is why someone like Beyonce and all, they have alter egos, to where it's like, I gotta, like, I'm putting on this mask because I want to have the same energy, so on and so forth, because these people have paid X amount of money. But for a child, the child really doesn't see it that kind of way. What this child is seeing is that you are like, I have to do this, and not only that, like, I'm obligated to do that. And so Will Smith said he looked at it, and when she said that, he was like, and he looked at it and he said, "Oh man, what did I do?" Just in that, similar to what you was like, I'm not, like, you can't just tell me to do so for in perpetuity or however long the contract was. I'm assuming for a child, 6 months to a year is a lifetime, right? Because if you're 10, 11, 12 years old, like, yeah, if it's 6 months, it's like, man, this is 6 months of this. Like, that's insane. That's forever. They think school is forever. So he said he had to take a step back and was like, this is what my daughter is telling me. And essentially, I did allow her my supervision. I'm the father. I'm the protector of this child. I'm the steward of this child, and we signed this contract. And I think he said at that point in the moment, she was like, "Dad, I don't want to do it." And he said, first he was like, "Oh, that was his first reaction. I don't know you're gonna do it. Like, we signed this contract." But then he said when he actually stepped back and took stock, he was like, I can't. And so
And
I
and
guess,
didn't she, if I remember the story, she went to the restroom or her bedroom and cut the rest of her hair off and came back
oh,
bald.
well, this is rebellion. Like, I'm telling you, I'm not gonna do it. Right? Yeah, I believe that was part of the story. But man, that's why what you just brought up is so so real, is because absolutely, yeah, with your child, like that, to me, like, that's the proper response. Like, I'm not in the position, but I don't understand it. I'm sure whoever they were assigned to was like super ticked off because they had X amount of money already counted or whatever it was. But as a father to a child, to me, that was like the proper response for it. And I probably would do the same thing too. Like, no, this is your word. But when you did some further introspection and thought, it's like, okay, well, yeah, this is, I don't want this for my child. And the crazy part is, I got the money in order for her not to do this thing.
Yeah,
I think that
he probably had to
yeah,
go to the court right for that.
yeah, I'm sure. Like, it's nothing but lawsuits and litigation. Absolutely. Either way, this is the price you have to pay, because this is just a decision that we made, and we went down this road, right? I also think it's important for you to think about that with yourself, right? Like treat yourself like that, like you would treat your child in that kind of way. In regards to when yourself, whatever that is, has had enough of this thing, like or starting to cross these different lines, and then you continue forcing yourself down that way because you're not really having empathy for yourself in that kind of way. In this example, like that's important as well. Like and I think that's probably why a lot of people have these issues is because they do sell themselves in perpetuity. Those 360 degrees that a lot of these artists have, these actors have, and then all of a sudden we hear the story 20, 30 years later, like this is how it was, right? So wow, what a different perspective that you brought with that, because I think it's super true. Like, how do we treat ourselves? I'm gonna treat myself like Will treated his daughter. Because then you get to acting out. She was whipping her hair back and forth, and then she shaved her hair. Whoa! if that's not a stop or a halt to take a look at something, I don't know what is. That's it. Yeah. I'm glad you added that detail because the song.
I remember that story, man.
Yeah, the song was whip your hair back and forth, and he said, okay. I'm telling you guys, if you do some looking at yourselves, I'm speaking to myself too. We act out in that same kind of way within ourselves. Like this is when you are laid up and you're like, man, I can't get out of bed. I don't even know why. I slept all day or whatever. I'm in this period. Is because there probably was some type of thing that you were resisting on a certain level, and you just kept pushing. If you weren't with integrity with yourself, and you just kept on pushing, and all of a sudden it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. Wow, what a All right, I didn't want to go too deep. That's deep.
Good.
Yeah. All right, I think that was your number 2 or number 3.
That was number 3.
Okay.
Number 3. I did God, my relationship, family, children, my wife, mom, dad, all them people, and then myself. Like you can't have me, no sir. Yeah. And I think it's kind of funny because right after that, I had like this semi recant, like, hold on, we have to talk about it. It's like, no, you can't have me. This body, no, man, no. So then I would move from my body to my mind. I like the way you said it when you was talking about the knowledge, so I really like that. And it helped me to think deeper about it. So it's like my mind. And just for clarification purposes, when I say my body, I mean everything, right? So that's brain. But my mind, I'm just thinking more like the spiritual aspect of myself, all my memories, all of my, all of my knowledge, just like my emotions, like all of that stuff, all of those things that sit inside of that space. You can't have that. You can't have that. I'm not trading that for $1 billion. I saw some strange movie one time, man. I don't know what it was. I think it was just like the battling and everything. It was really kind of crazy. It was about these ladies, and I don't remember what time it was, time frame. So I'm kind of bad with that stuff. So y'all out there in the world, y'all figure it out. You'll figure out what movie it is, maybe if I describe it enough. But like these ladies, they're taken up into custody, and they're like, they're crazy. So they take them into one of those places where they take, quote unquote, crazy people back when they had those types of houses, rob them right out of their homes and, put them in white coats, straight jackets, and take them down here to this place, to this facility. And when they get into this facility, like these ladies, they end up having, like they have, now you don't know it, but they have like these dreams, almost like they're going into the Matrix. And when they go into that quote unquote Matrix, not the Matrix, they end up fighting these demons or these people or these monsters for their freedom. And I watched this whole movie. I'm not going to tell you it was like a grade A movie, you know what I mean? Because it wasn't. But I watched it because it was like super, it was kind of exciting. It was like boom, boom, boom. And I like to see all of that. And I'm watching it. And then finally we get to the last scene, right? The lead star, it's this lady, blonde hair lady, lead star. She like destroys the monster. At least that's the way I remember it. And after that, it's like, all right, we're free. And then it just goes black. And after that, they show her sitting inside of like the operating room, and they just removed her frontal lobe.
Oh, wow.
She had a lobotomy. And it's like the whole movie then presumptuously was all in her mind.
Mm-hmm.
None of it ever happened. She never fought her way out of the place. There was no outlandish monsters inside there. Every bit of it was the drugs that they gave her, the psychedelic drugs that they gave her, or the sleeping drugs that they gave her, and all these other girls, and they were all in imagination zone. And when she actually stopped dreaming it was when they finished the operation. And I was just like, yo, that was crazy.
It sounds crazy. That's an interesting ending. That's a turn of events.
Yeah, I don't like endings like that, Mike. I don't like movies with
But it had you tuned in.
Man, they had me, man. I really don't like. Every once in a while somebody goes out there with their smart aleck ways and they make a doggone movie that excites me, and at the very last 5 minutes they go ahead and change that thing around, and I hate the movie from that point on. That was one of them.
What's the Bruce Willis movie? Because I had a similar oh my god, with the little kid, and he was supposed to be like the little kid psychiatrist or something.
Sixth Sense.
Yeah. That was one of those flip movies. But we'll go back into it, because I think you were going to a point with all these things was happening in her mind, right?
Yeah. So like, I don't understand the question.
Because this was your number 4. Your number 4 was like your mind.
My number 4 is my mind.
Your experiences and your
Right. So it's like that's the part that I don't want. I wouldn't give up. For me, I wouldn't give up my mind, all of my experiences. I don't care if I got bad ones, bad memories, good. I don't care about any of that stuff. Like, I'm already in a position in my life where I'm great with me. I'm great with me. I'm great with my experiences. I understand them. I understand the mistakes that I've made, and I understand that I'm still learning through this process. I get those things, and I'm okay with that. I'm very much okay with that. I wouldn't trade any of that stuff for the world. And like a number like $1 billion to me is like $1 billion is like the $1 million of 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I thought $1 million was every single dime in the world, right? 30 years ago. I was like, oh man, when I grow up, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I had no idea about being a decamillionaire, centimillionaire. I really didn't understand the word billionaire. I just didn't really get it. I didn't get it, and now we're talking about trillions of dollars in debt and all this stuff. We're talking about really, really, really non-conceptual numbers. Like, I cannot conceptually see it, in my brain. Like, does $1 billion fill up this room that I'm in? Like, could I jump into the money in the middle? Would it fill up this room? Would it take 2 rooms? Like, I don't get it, right? I just don't get it. So $1 billion is like all the money in the world to me, even though I understand it's not. But forgive me. But I'm just want to position as $1 billion, all the money in the world. That's fine. So when someone says, what would you give up? What would you give up $1 billion for? I just thought it would be really fun to say what I wouldn't give it up for. You know
What's dope about this conversation is how fast we can come up with things that we would not give it up for. Like that, to me, your ability to just, and mine, so because you threw that crazy question on me first, but our ability to just automatically just say boom, 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 right? Because I imagine if I were to ask, let's say my son, if I were to ask Elijah, like, hey, what would you not sell $1 billion for? The thought process might be different, right? Like and how long it took them to think. But because of, I think the thought process that we have surrounding it, I'm really chalking up the principles in my mind, like the principles that's along with it, the lifestyle that we know and understand, the to have had X amount of money and what we've done with money, and we're like, like a lot of this stuff is fleeting, right? Not you, and some of this thing is not, and some of these things aren't worth it. But there's certain things that it's just like boom, 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 boom. It's an easy decision. You can ask us today. You probably can ask us tomorrow. We probably can get more in depth on it now that this thought is in our mind. But just the ability at the front, like how did you come up with that kind of thing? And I'm curious to know what you think that attributes to, because I think that, to me, that's a huge. I like to understand how you just were able to come up with it so quickly.
Honestly,
hold on. Shout out to Kenyatta. I see.
Yo, Kenyatta. All right.
What's going on?
Yeah, I haven't been looking at. I got big screen on right now, so I have no idea who's checking in on us. So yeah, definitely shout out to Kenyatta for sure. Yeah, man. You said it, and I agree with it. Principles. I just think it's. I think that this was a really good exercise on what you love, what you place above all. Because if we would have said, tell me 100 things, shoot, I would have had to sit down here with a sheet of paper. But then we say something like, give me top 5, and all of a sudden it's like, listen, outside that top, and I don't know if this framed up for you like that. It may not have, but like the frame is like, okay, this is how big your frame is. You can only fit 5 things into it, so they better be good. So at that point in time, it's like, these are non-thinkable things. I don't have to do a whole lot. I don't have to do a whole lot of research into some of this stuff that I got to come up with, because this is what I love. This is my core values right here. I'm about to show it to you. You're gonna find out what my core values are, because $1 billion will change just about anything else. So the only thing that's going to be left is what I stand on, what I stand for, what I die for. That's the only thing that's going to be left. It's the only thing this is my thought process on it. And so that's what the brain has, the ability to notice what it doesn't want, like very fast, out of protection and familiarity. That's interesting. That's interesting. I like that. I like that philosophical comment too. And I think it's definitely, I definitely believe that there's some thought into that. And so for me, it was like, it's like, just be quick, just raw, right? Just be raw. Because when you said it, I had already had, like you said, I'm like, boom, 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 because it just like, it intrigued me so much. It just intrigued me, it's like raw. And so like getting back to that, I feel like it just means so much. Like when we take down all the paint and we take all, like they would say, like you take the lipstick off and the face paint off for the girl, do you still love her? And it's just like when you pull back all of the beauty of every single thing. You know what I mean? And let's just get to the raw nuts and bolts of it. Like, don't tell me what you studied. Tell me what you are, what you believe, what you feel. Don't tell me what so and so said in that meeting the other day, or what you just learned over here out of this book. No, just give it to me raw. What is that? And it's like, that's kind of like what that question was, and they've made some movies like this that just somebody comes in. I think one of them might have been called like The Gift or something. Forgive me if I'm wrong because I ain't never watched it. They're generally horror movies. And so I don't watch horror movies. So I don't really know. But you can go look at it and like some tragic thing happens to somebody when they get this opportunity of getting whatever that is. It's like, oh, you can have one wish, anything you want. And then from what I understand about whatever this movie is called, I know I'm so terrible with movies, right? So whatever this movie is called, you get one wish, and when they like knock on your door, you get the wish. And when you wish it, you say, I want to be a millionaire, right? And then so the next you know, you get a check in the mail. It's $1 million. And you're like, yeah, it's $1 million. And then you get a phone call that your loved one just died, and that's the inheritance. And you're like, oh, shoot. So every single wish came with a price, right? And so it's just like I said, they make movies about stuff like this, and it's just kind of like a crazy twist of events. But anyway, just the raw thought, man. Just the raw thought. Like this is my non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. I don't have to think about this, Ooh, 100% values. Anything outside of that can go. That's nice. I like that. I like that. I agree.
Yeah, man. Shout out Kenyatta. I agree with the values part. I think a person who's value oriented, principle oriented. I'm gonna tell you, and if you really want to get technical in regards to it, I think because I will. uh like truly understanding your lifestyle, and then from that point on, the feeling of like what brings you the highest return on your joy or energy within that, like as far as just being, if I were to specify certain things. But if you understand your lifestyle, and for most people it really for me, let me speak for me, it really doesn't take much, right? And I've had it all. I've had a lot. I've enjoyed things. I went through that period in life where it was really about grinding and hustle and this and making as much as I possibly can, and so on and so forth. And then you get to a point, and I think there's a study that was done that state, because I'm big on studies and research and information, was after a certain point, and I think if you're single, it's like 80 grand. Um, the happiness doesn't really multiply as much as what it was. I'm not talking about, and maybe and this was years ago. It's probably different now, right? The number probably for most people is like 100 and something thousand, but your happiness doesn't multiply based upon X amount of money, because you've already met your needs and you've probably met the majority of your wants, right? After that, then it goes up to different grades. I like Kenyatta said, I wouldn't give up my health. Yeah, Kenyatta, I know you possibly came a little bit late, but we was really getting into giving up certain things. And I think that's important too, right? And that's why, and the saying is what, health is wealth, right? That's part of it. I don't know. That's interesting.
I like that. Let me get my last one. So my last one is abilities. My abilities. That was my last one. I wouldn't give up my abilities. Ability to walk, ability to talk.
Shout out to Kenyatta. Kenyatta says happiness
your
multiplies
ability
by your
to
ability.
access it.
Happiness is inside of us. Absolutely. I agree. I'm aligned with that, Kenyatta, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But your abilities, brother.
Yeah, I wouldn't give up my abilities. I wouldn't give up my abilities. My abilities to do. You're not gonna give me $1 billion and then sit me in a corner and say, baby, don't move. No. I want to do, man. I want to go home. I want to hug my son. I want to do. I want to go to work. I I want to go and work. You know, I want to go to service. I want to travel. I want to pray. You know, I want to go and work out. I want to go and by chance see my friends in the gym. Hey, yo, what's up, Mike? You know, I want to, I want to by happens chance pick up my cell phone and see Kenyatta back inside the gym. I saw that, Kenyatta. That's dope. You know, I want to, just like stuff like that, because I want to live. I just want to enjoy the life. Like that's what I'm here for. You know, to live.
Okay.
You know, I might as well be dead. Oh my God. You know, something is working out well. Now I'm gonna tell you something. Just like I don't know what happened, but just after a little bit of moments, the left eye started to do a little something funky. But I just didn't want to go upstairs to get him. So appreciate that. Yo, listen, Kenyatta, you talking to a man that is 1000% just filled with joy. I'm just a very, very grateful man. I'm grateful for highs, grateful for lows. I'm just. Hey, you remember the song? Can't know. Oh, I'm about to sing it wrong. Never mind. I don't even think I got the right words. It don't matter.
Y'all cutting up a little bit in the chat. Sounds like again, y'all.
What she say, man? I can't see nothing. Let me get out of this screen so I can see what she's saying. Oh my God!
You gotta come up closer to the screen.
No, man. Oh my gosh. Oh, she got them back to back.
Oh man.
Much love. Thank you. Likewise. It always enjoy you. Seeing you inside the gym.
Had to get closer to the screen to see what was going on.
Hey man, I put the screen on big time.
She reminded you, loved one. That's me. Beloved, where your glasses at, beloved? Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that's something that we can all take a look at. What would you not trade for? Whatever we said $1 billion, but whatever, all the money in the world, it could be, could be interchangeable. And man, think about the type of life that you would live. If you that's what we heard, Kenyatta. Too late now.
Man, let me get out of the screen again. I got to see what else she put. Oh snap! I got rid of Mike. My bad, Mike. Boy, it's cutting up inside here today.
Go get your glasses.
Savior. What is going on? Oh man.
Kenyatta, I understand, Kenyatta. You prompted him in a nice way. We
ain't going there. See, I'm back in the screen, Kenyatta. I see your stuff. You could tell when I'm over here controlling the banners because they pop up quick. When Mike does it, he gonna read it, laugh, and then tell me about it, but they ain't gonna show it on the screen.
Listen, everything but to go get his glasses and admit that I can't see. I can't see, and I was too lazy to get my glasses.
Oh, yeah, nothing about lazy, Mike. Don't try to put that on me.
You said
it. No, don't try to put that on me.
We rewind the tape. We gotta rewind the tape. You said I was too lazy to go upstairs to go get it, and now you cut me off.
I didn't say the word lazy. I didn't say the word lazy. I said I didn't want to go upstairs and get them. No, I decided. It was a decision.
Okay, well, the reason why you didn't go up to get them, whatever reason that was, now you're cutting off the screen. So I apologize for saying you said lazy.
Oh my
God. But you didn't go get them, and she prompted you nicely, And now
No,
we're
I'm not
laughing.
going to get him.
And now
This
we
show's
laughing at
over. Oh my God, look at this. This show's over.
because you
It's
cut
over.
because
It's
you
over.
cut me off. Look how close he came to
Tara Denise, we like this. Shout out to Tara Denise on Mike's Facebook.
Tara. What up,
Shout
Tara?
out to Kenyatta Conway.
Oh my
Thank you
God.
for the love.
Look how close.
Hey, you see this? I'm gonna tell you something. You know what? This right here reminds me of when all my children get in a room together. Well, for some reason, Dad is the funniest thing. Hey, Dad is the funniest thing around. And it'd be just like this, just like Mike and Kenyatta. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. My comment before you started talking about the glasses. See, come on, Kenyatta. Kenyatta, see, it's Mike blowing something up. He just blowing that thing up. He blowing it up. See? Oh my God. Look at him over there in the prison cell laughing and froze on the screen.
Oh,
that was all I had,
God,
y'all. I ain't got nothing else. That was it. That was my best shot.
I can't do it.
It was my best shot. I ain't got nothing else.
Let me stop. All right.
I've been
All right.
squinting the whole time, so
Listen.
it's all right. Yeah. It's all right.
Man.
Thank you, Kenyatta. We appreciate
Shout
you.
out
Thank
Kenyatta.
you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely. Listen, you made my day. I appreciate you jumping on. This was good. This was good. Man, I think that's it.
That's it, man. That's it. Close out on Joel ain't got no glasses on and he was too lazy to go get them. Let's go. Roll the beautiful beam footage.
I apologize. I apologize.
Roll that beautiful beam footage. Oh my God.
All
right.
Oh
In the
man.
gym.
We'll see you tomorrow, Kenyatta. Appreciate you. Listen, we out. Shouts out to y'all. Some things to think about. And let's give it a beacon, man. Appreciate you.